Blimey, I'm almost rendered speechless by that applause.
We weren't clapping you, we were clapping the programme.
Okay, well, I am the programme.
Oh, that's true.
We were clapping Dan Levine.
I don't believe you'll ever be rendered speechless, Chidge.
No, hell will freeze over before that happy day happens. This is, in fact, Stanford Chidge, and this is not my show. It is not all about me. It's about you lot out there and these fantastic people around here and over there.
Chidge,
and they are, collectively, supremely, the Chelsea Football Fancast. Anyway, we're back. That was a cracking old bit of a debate. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah,
really
I do
good.
like speaking to Rob. I think we should have more of those. Yeah,
definitely.
I like that. Okay, I'm going to write to Chelsea Football Club and say, please, can you only ever have one game every week so that we don't have to cover another flaming game, and then we can have a proper debate about something interesting in that part. What is part 4?
Do you think they'll pay any attention to it?
I think they will.
You need to write to UEFA as well.
I know people, Darren. We know you and I know people.
Still, you might have to have a word with
We'll
them.
talk to he who must not be named, because he's the one that actually really runs Chelsea Football Club, isn't he? Oh yes, we know. Now this part here is known collectively as You Are on CFFC, and there's a very good reason for that, because this is where we like to hear from you. You used Darren in a kind of a what was that bird who was the clairvoyant? Stokes.
Doris Stokes?
Yeah, you used Darren in a Doris Stokes sort of way, like a medium. You see, so you kind of write things onto Twitter and Mixlr, and then Darren asks them of us.
Chidge. I think it's a while since Darren was last a medium.
Good shout, Dan. Anyway, so you can ask questions to us via Darren. You can also Skype in or get on the old dog and bone and ask us a question. Now, to do that, you need to be on the chat room of Mixlr, and the little address for Mixlr is mixlr.com/Chelsea-fancast. Or you can Skype us, and the Skype address is chelsea.fancast. All very, very easy. And of course, there's good old Twitter, which is @ChelseaFancast, and Darren is keeping an eye on that too. Now, before we do anything else, I have one question that somebody emailed me in as well, and you can, of course, email us at chelseafancast@gmail.com in the week, and I will try and remember and ask the question for you. Now, we do have somebody very, very special on the line. I have to give him a big build-up, because this man not only was listening, I think he was one of the first listeners we ever had. He is from Phoenix, Arizona. He has been on the benches when we were in the pub in Putney, and he even managed to say something very funny once that got on the show, which meant that we've always called him ever since Crystal Balls. But he is really called Chris Bird, and he is fabulous. Chris, how are you, mate?
I am doing well, lads. How are you?
We're good, mate. We're good. We're lovely to hear your dulcet tones. Now, you do have a question for us, I believe.
Yeah, actually, I do, man. I think it was brought up in the group, on the Facebook group, and I kind of wanted to get your guys' thoughts on it of good old Dave, not from just a return on investment sort of buy, but how Azpilicueta is kind of like our first choice, and sort of like I kind of like dub guys like this the bacon saver. I kind of want to get your thoughts on his evolution and now how he is firmly first choice guy right now.
And you mean basically, in summary, are you saying is Aspie better than Ashley Cole? Is he more suited to that position? Is he better there, or more generally?
Use the words better than Ashley Cole, but just how he seems to be firmly entrenched as our first choice left back now.
Pablo's absolutely champing at the bit to answer you, mate.
Yeah, I mean, he was always very, very highly rated as a youngster, and then we managed to pick him up really, really cheap, like well below his value, on the grounds that he had a knee injury the season before. Indeed, and Marseille didn't have much money, but
$7 million, absolute bargain.
He's totally justified that, and 3 or 4 times that now. Actually, There's only really Philip Lahm in terms of what he does, in my mind, that's ahead of him at the minute.
But I think he still had to prove himself at the beginning of the season, though. Because it was that game against Swindon when he played all the players who hadn't been playing in the League Cup game, and he slowly but surely excelled because Ash was given the priority. But he's just taken over.
In addition to what Pablo's just said, also he's got the technique, he's got the football brain, but also he's so committed. The thing Mourinho was saying about if he had a team of 11 Aspies, we'd win the Champions League, because he's just so professional, so confident. He gets knuckles down in training. He said to me, if the manager wants me to play on the left wing, if he wants me to play in goal, I'll do it. And that's what Mourinho looks for in a player.
But you can tell that enthusiasm shines out of him when he plays on the pitch as well. He's
and
remarkably competitive.
Shines onto everyone else as well. You didn't see the celebration when he scored against Arsenal, when you had the entire team sprinting up to the left wing to jump on him. Yeah.
I've got a question for Mr. Bird, actually. Are you ready for this, Chris?
All right. I've been prepped. What's up?
Ross, who is sitting in the gallery at the moment, wants to know about buffalo wings.
Buffalo wings, all right. What about them?
Well, I don't know. He wants to know about the buffalo wings. Oh, I know. Have you given them up yet, Chris?
Oh, for Lent, I have completely given them up. I haven't folded. I took my daughter. My university was playing down in Tucson at a baseball tournament. We went out to eat every night. I've given them up for Lent. It's only been about a week, not even a week yet. But man, I'm trying. Any of you guys who've seen me knows I'm a pretty big bloke, and I need my wings. But so far the first week's been good.
Nice one. That is brilliant to hear. Now, did we answer your question satisfactorily, Chris? Have you got any comeback on that?
Yeah, like I said, because again, it was more so again, like I said, not just the fact that he's kind of like I said, firmly entrenched himself in there, but people always talk about the return on investment of a player that you buy, and I just think that this guy could potentially kind of almost be your gold standard as far as scouts doing their jobs, going out and getting a guy. I think we would probably all agree that Hazard is probably worth whatever we paid for him, but everybody already knew about who knew about Dave, who knew about this guy.
They didn't even know what his name was, Chris.
What's that?
They didn't even know what his name was. That's why they called him Dave.
Exactly. That's kind of my point. And this kid has just been, even over the last couple of years, you just kind of always, I find myself, not necessarily answering questions, but just people are like, where did this kid come from? Where is this guy?
I tell you what, mate. I think it's interesting, isn't it? I think there are several players on the Chelsea side at the moment who've got the potential to be some of the best in the world. And I think Aspie's, surprisingly to me in a way, but I think he's proving that. Now, listen, we've got to go because we've got to move on. But I've got to ask you another quick question before I go, and that's when are you coming over to the bridge next, mate?
I thought I was trying really hard to get there next week for the return of the Drogba, but it didn't work out. But I'm actually going to try to shoot for next fall.
Okay, well, look, make sure you let me know when you do, because it'd be lovely to catch up with you and buy you a beer, because we love seeing you and we love you to pieces. And before I go and say cheerio, can you send masses of love to your little daughter, because I know she's not been very well, and I know she's a big Chelsea fan too.
Absolutely, brother, will do. Thanks, man.
Give
Thanks,
her a big
guys.
kiss from us, and you take care, fella, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, mate.
Eric Morabito says hello as well, Chris. He's told me to say hello.
Oh, how lovely. I mean, it really is lovely to hear. As I said, Chris has been listening since the get-go, almost the first show. I love that. I'm very, very touched. Now, we move on to another question, Darren, yes?
Would you like a question from me first then, Chidge?
I would love one from you.
This is from Diane Crabtree.
Oh, thank you, Diane. If I haven't thanked you enough already. It fits. It does fit. There's almost room.
We'll see if you're still saying it after the question, Chidge.
Oh, God.
The question is Chidge going on a diet?
It fits, Diane, it fits.
Well, all right, okay, come on, camera back, just to prove that, look.
Oh, God, no.
Okay, now, this is probably the best you'll ever see the Chelsea FanCast. It's headless, really. There's definitely some love handles
Turn
here,
to the
Darren.
sides.
Okay, do you want me to turn like this way as well?
Yeah.
And I'm breathing in a bit.
It's Dave Mackay. He had a barrel chest like
the
that.
thing is, Darren, what can I say, Diane? There's more of me to cuddle. That's probably all I'm going to say about that. But yes, I think I do need to stop being a salad dodger. The chef, Andy, on the benches is going to construct a diet for me.
Yeah, I can do that.
Isn't that right? And I think it's going to have to involve having no alcohol, which is very annoying. But hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, genteel viewers, some of us watched him put that shirt on earlier. You have been saved. Don't watch the director's cut.
Yeah, they really are actually still. I think they find it very hard to recover actually. But don't put me on any beaches at all, particularly in Dubai. They might think there's a whale that's arrived. I said it before you did, to be fair. All right, but no, I do need to go on a diet, Diane. But I love the shirt. It is fancy. And when I've gone on a diet, it'll fit perfectly. Even more perfectly than it does now. Okay, that's enough of my embarrassment. Next.
Very good.
She did say she was only joking, but then
I know, I love her really.
Many true words said in jest and all that. So
thank you, Darren.
There was obviously some clear, serious undertones to her question. Yes. Is what I'm trying to say.
One day you'll be my age. You'll be my age one day, Darren.
Right, I've got a question here for Pablo. Will Ashley Cole remain at the end of the season? Will Jose keep him since Azpilicueta is in great form? And that comes from Zuriel NG.
Oh, good old Zuriel's back.
I don't really see the club offering him a new deal on anything like his current terms, given his age and given that he's not first choice. So as it is at the minute, I'd be pretty surprised if he stayed.
But is there anybody else who could take over as Azpilicueta's backup?
Yeah.
Van Aanholt.
Luke Shaw.
What if they buy someone?
Controversial.
Yeah, fair enough. Is Arnholt up to scratch then?
Yeah, probably.
Van Aanholt's gone on a long, long way in recent years. Yeah, he's looking good.
I liked him. I thought he was a decent player. I thought he was the next in line to Ash, and then Ryan Bertrand turned up.
I think one of the issues with Van Aanholt in previous years has been a bit of an attitude issue.
Really?
But from what I hear, that's been ironed out of him, and he's working like a good pro.
He's Dutch, isn't he, Van Aanholt? Fancy a Dutchman, a Dutch footballer having an attitude
You'd
problem.
never think it, would you? Never
Who
think
knew?
it.
Is he
Who
not?
knew?
Is he an international? Has he played for them?
He may well end up in their World Cup squad, but he hasn't played for them yet.
right.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Now look, I've got. Is that satisfactorily answered?
It is. I've got a few more.
I've got this one that I got on email, which I must read out because it's apart from anything else, it's a cracking question. You're going to love this. Let me just.
Should you order present, you don't have to justify it to me.
That's true, but I keep being told it's not my show and I have to be nice. I'm just trying hard. I'm trying hard, people. Right, this is from the lovely Paul Hackman, who got in touch with me recently. Got him a T-shirt. Anyway, he says, "This is rather belated. Thank you for sorting out the Everton tickets for me after being let down at the last minute. I think actually, I think you need to be thanking Darren as well. Maybe I don't know. I can't remember. We got a couple of tickets last minute. Maybe it was." Another person that I shouldn't mention on air, but anyway, he was very appreciative. Definitely above and beyond the Call of Duty, Chidge. It was good to meet up with you before, and my son and I really enjoyed the match. The last minute winner seemed to be appropriate. Quick question for your learned panel.
So me.
And that, yeah,
just you.
Definitely got the time. Now his question is brilliant. He says, "This has got Paul and Dan written all over it," which is why when I read this email, I was so delighted that you two were on the show. I'm now going to go.
Excuse me.
Yeah, well, you haven't heard it yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Here we go, Jonathan. Are you ready?
Yeah. Can I answer it first?
With the need, you just go yes or no.
Okay.
It says, with the need to plan for the future, financial fair play rules, and Jose's willingness to swing the axe, which players do you think are nailed on to be part of Jose's Chelsea team for next season? Actually, it's quite a good one for you, Jonathan. But what do you think of that? It's a good question, isn't it?
Nailed. Sorry, Paul, you go first.
So who's nailed on to stay?
Who do you think, if we start from next season, we look at this season's team, who will still be there?
Willian.
Yep. I'm going to write this down. I'm excited. I'm that excited, I'm going to write it down. Willian.
Gaza Cahill.
Terry.
Ivanovic.
Branner.
I'm not totally convinced on Ivanovic myself as a starter.
Really?
And,
Interesting.
So question mark from Pablo.
Hazard.
Oscar.
Matic.
Oscar.
Hang on, one at a time. Hazard, Oscar, Matic. Yeah. I don't think...
Check.
Greg's just said to me, any from the benches. I don't think you're playing next season, are you? No. They're shaking their head, Greg.
Check.
No,
I'm not sure.
You don't think so? You think Loris would...
question mark over check.
We've done this, haven't we?
Benches, we are going to ask you now. Yeah, we are, just to keep you happy, Greg. Benches, who do you think? You got anything to add to that list?
Yeah, Oscar, definitely.
We mentioned Oscar and Hazard.
I don't believe you mentioned Oscar, just Hazard.
Yeah, his name's on the list.
Eto'o, yeah.
You think Eto'o, Jonathan?
No, I'm reading up the team that played the second half on Saturday. I think
One at a time.
Eto'o back up for another year.
You think Eto'o for another year?
I'd be surprised.
I'm going to put a question mark for that. Okay.
This is not dependent
None
on
of
who
you.
they
I've
get.
got to say,
who they buy.
sometimes I do question the sanity of myself for doing this show, but sometimes I have to look at the people around me and go, "Are you mad? Not one of you have mentioned Aspie yet."
I thought it was implied.
Aspie.
Goodness, after all that time we spent talking about
I just said the whole of the team that played the second half.
I'm going to pause it there, and I'm going to say, so far, Paul, we've come up with definites of Willian, Cahill, Terry, Hazard, Oscar, Matic, and Aspie. No, because we put a question mark against... We got a question mark against Cech and a question mark against Branner. Personally, I think Eto'o will be off.
I think it will.
Oh,
We've got to put Frank Lampard as well, then. Are we going to put...
We haven't put Ramirez in. Ramirez.
If we're going to stick a question mark to Eto'o, I think...
Whoa, one at a time. You know the rules, H.
Louis is first. Sorry.
Well, first team, basically.
What was the question? Is it the starting 11 or the
No,
squad?
who's going to survive the axe? That was the
I
question.
think if you mentioned Lampard, by far from being certain, very, very far from being certain.
So let's put it
I
around
think we're
another
talking
way.
about Eto'o staying another year. I don't think they give Lampard another year.
Can we put it around another way? Who do we see in doubt then?
Lampard.
Lamps.
Cole.
Louise.
Check.
No,
Mikel.
let them speak and then we'll analyse it.
Mikel.
Yeah. Torres. Bar. Eto'o.
Quite a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Quite a lot.
We forgot to mention Ramirez earlier on, but I think Ramirez is an absolute certainty to stay.
Yes,
He's not going anywhere. Jose loves
He's
it.
nailed on.
Schürrle? What about Schürrle?
He sort of straddles the line, doesn't he, really?
Yeah, but I think Schürrle will still be here.
There's been too much of an investment for them to get shot after 1 year without a big offer that won't come in. So
Yes.
Sorry, Dan?
he'll
be here.
He could end up on loan easily.
You think he'll be gone?
Yeah.
Blimey.
Don't sell him.
No.
On loan.
Maybe on loan.
Yeah, on loan.
It's much the same thing. I think what I would really like to. I was thinking about this the other day, but in a slightly different context. But if you ever remember kind of 1970s politics, particularly in Argentina and Chile, they used to have this thing called the Mothers of the Disappeared, where basically the political regimes at the time would disappear people. I think Chelsea's becoming like that. It's called the loan system. We basically disappear all these players we never see again.
The only one I think it's fair to say we know for certain definitely won't be involved again ever is Marco Marin because his number's been given away.
He's been disappeared. So wait, next week we're going to have a graphic on the show and we're going to have these pictures of all these players, but they're all going to be blacked out.
But which ones are going to come back
Chelsea's
from loan?
disappeared. What do you think?
Who's going to come back from loan?
I'm liking you trying to forge some sort of niche there in South American politics / Chelsea FanCast.
This is a very broad church, this show, Dan. It is a very broad
So we can organise a group of us to stand outside the bridge with pictures.
Yes.
Speaking,
Okay.
there was a
Saturday,
protest the other day.
I know, we're not going to talk about that, 'cause it's silly. Anyway, look, I think we've pretty much answered that question, and I think we're actually, interestingly enough, in fairly broad agreement on that. There's only 1 or 2 players that we were like, But, you know, I mean, I think I'm going to wrap that one up. I think we've got time for one more question, Darren, because we've got 2 minutes left. In the
Okay, a quick one, Darwish, just to answer. You have to wait and see for Galatasaray and Arsenal what flags we're going to see. Mr. Kidd, if you can do this without going off in a tangent, do you think in Hazard we are potentially Chelsea's first Ballon d'Or winner?
Why have I been asked this question? Nice.
Because you like to be asked things. You like to have the attention.
I do like the attention. I admit it. But what was the question again?
Do you think in Eden Hazard we have Chelsea's first Ballon d'Or winner?
Yes.
Is that Ballon d'Or or Balloon d'Or?
Balloon d'Or.
Ballon
way around it
d'Or.
is.
Ballon d'Or.
That was very quick. Yes.
Mr. Levine.
When's he going to win it?
When we win the Champions League.
When are we going to win that?
The year after next.
No, Jose said next year.
Yeah, but I think he'll be off.
No, you're right. He said the year after next. He said
I think he said we'll win the Premier League next year.
All right, good question.
Dan Levine, how good is it to have Jose back?
It's brilliant. For 2 reasons. Obviously, 1, because he's a brilliant manager, and 2, because he's just fantastic for the press.
Next.
Yes.
I suppose, Pablo, you might have to answer this one. Besides 4-2-3-1 formation, which other formation would be suitable for Chelsea?
Well, he's shown this year that a 4-3-3, a more defensive one, works fine for the big games. That's what he did, and it's effectively how he started the other day as well. So, yeah, that.
And then he moves it around,
yes,
doesn't he? And he plays whatever he feels
takes
like. He's a
Lampard off
completely wonderful manager.
I love him.
He's just
Talking of Jose, I've just written a monster blog about why Jose Mourinho is so special, which I think they've stuck on the old Campo retro.com website, but I'll give it a bit of a tweet around tomorrow because I forgot they put it up. But it's a long one. It's over 2,000 words. Some of them are long.
Can I just say something on Jose? I don't know if there's anyone here who was at the Chelsea Pitch Owners Gala evening last Thursday, where Jose spoke for an hour with Jason Cundy, and he was asked lots and lots of questions, didn't reveal a lot, but the most interesting thing he said was, I cannot yet tell this group of players to go out there and that they must win. When we get there, then we're where we need to be.
That's a very good point. I think we're going to round it up there. That's a brilliant point, Dan. Wish I'd been there. It sounded like a great evening. Now, we are on the home straight. After the break, we'll be back telling you about the news, the stats, and all sorts of other exciting things. We'll be back in a short while.